Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tower of God Chapter 354, Season 2, Episode 274. Sorry the review is up a day later than usual. Real quick, because I know it doesn't really matter that much, I'm going to just say why, but I'll keep it brief. But yesterday afternoon I took the notes, read it a few more times, but it was raining really hard. Usually you can't hear that, it doesn't pick it up very much on the microphone anyway. But I didn't want to record because even though I have the lights in front of me, my recording lights, I still open all the curtains when I record in this room, because if not, even with the recording lights in front of me, it's like the video shows up kind of dark and doesn't look very good. And it was pretty much so dark and cloudy outside that it was basically light levels of nighttime out there. I figured that it would just be kind of dark looking, and on top of that, if it was raining hard enough to pick up on the audio or whatever, I was like, I don't know how much that'll affect the video. So I was like, I've already taken the notes for the review and all, so I'll just hold off a day and record it Wednesday morning. So there we are. So this should be up sometime Wednesday afternoon, hopefully early afternoon. But either way, let's talk about this. I thought it was great. And even in the live reaction, I was really positive about it. But going back through and reading a few more times, of course, to take notes and all, I've come to like it even more and think that I think it's because it was a death chapter, and it was a chapter that was supposed to show us something and lead us into a twist or important stuff for the arc. But it seemed like it was one of those chapters where he really went all out. A lot of the art was better than average, and of course, Tower of God usually has really good art, but you could tell that CU put more into the art this week and sort of put more into the chapter. It's one of those chapters like of course, my favorite chapter, the one with Daniel's backstory, of course, nothing to that level, or the one where Prince and Akraptor died. One of those chapters where you can tell that CU just stepped up the quality for that particular chapter because it was supposed to be important. I thought it was great, and I think what made it the best to me was that Chung is a really awesome villain now. I was expecting Chung to just be some introductory scrub for this arc, and I guess kind of he still is in a way, but he's just a super strong and super cool introductory scrub. Either way, though, Team Kun is fighting this crazy strong monster thing that got summoned from the Tit's eggs. It targets the Tit itself, but Kun saves it. Good guy Kun. Chung is still fighting the soldiers, and I think it's, again, funny the reactions there, where Kun's like, I don't even want to talk to you, and Rak's like, me too. So it's so funny. Chung is just so upbeat and positive and wants to help everybody and save everybody, but everybody who knows the future him in real life doesn't like him, so he gets the cold shoulder from all of them. It's great. We have Bomb hit after his Shinsu dissipates. Hit by Chung, that is. So again, Chung being set up is really, really strong, can block or nullify the black hole sphere or whatever, which was supposed to be Bomb's big, cool, new move that only irregulars could do, and now here comes a guy who can just negate it and hit him. Andrasi teleports him out of there after he gets hit by the attack. Chung is great when he is not only talking, but throughout the few sequences there where he's just casually moving his head and twisting around, dodging bullets as he talks and everything, and he's just so confident and calm, like it's absolutely nothing. I think it's great because he knows this isn't really him, this is just an avatar in a game, sort of. So it doesn't even matter if it gets hit. To a certain extent, I guess it does matter because it could be killed in-game, but it can't seemingly hurt him outside of the game for that to get hurt. And even then, they can't even hurt the avatar there because it's so strong. But I love the confidence and just sort of laughing in the good guys' faces as he's screwing everything up for him. Bottas has bullets made to kill data humans given to him by Chung to be as a faint sliver of hope. He gave him those bullets, but he locked him away in a place where he'd never be able to use them, so he would spend the whole of eternity sitting in that prison thinking, oh, if I get out I could shoot him. So that was another way that he wanted to torture Bottas. Andrasi uses Bong Bong to change the path of one of Bottas's bullets mid-flight in order to hit Chung, and then this great panel and scene where Bomb goes in to grab him as he's falling backwards, and he just leans back up like, "Did you think I would die?" and stabs Bomb. It's kind of unclear, it's either through the shoulder area or the spear slices him under his arm, like in the armpit area. I can't tell which. I guess it really doesn't matter that much. The point is basically whether it stabs through his shoulder or cuts him under the arm. Either way, the thing is that he cut Bomb. He was able to inflict that sort of damage, make Andrasi have to teleport Bomb out of there again. Pretty much established that no matter what they try, nothing is working on this guy, and the whole time he's just laughing about it, which is great. So I think Chung is just doing super well as a villain right now. And a good villain really pushes the story forward, because, I mean, it gives you something interesting for the heroes to do. So I love Chung as a villain right now. And I didn't think I would, and I didn't really before this. He didn't seem that important, but this chapter really let the character shine. Then after he's teleported out again, he brings up Rose and asks Rose if she wants to be stabbed, and she says yes, or wants to be killed, and it's great, because, again, he's just doing this to mock and torment the good guys. Like he said before, look at them, they could jump in and help, but they aren't, because they're just obedient little dolls. They don't have minds. You don't have a mind, Bottas. You really think you do, but you don't. I'm the one who does. And I love that, because Chung is the person who's controlling the avatar, so he's saying, I'm real, I understand things, but you're not real, you're just an NPC who thinks you're real. Man, everything about the way he treats Bottas is so evil and dickish, but at the same time so confident and sure of himself that it's great as a villain. So he pretty much makes Rose say she wants to be killed, and then it wasn't super clear at first. What I think happens here is that Bottas went to shoot Chung to stop him from killing Rose, and then Rose jumped in the way of the bullet because she's programmed to want to protect and to serve and to worship the big breeders. So he essentially just forced Rose to take the bullet for him. He kind of planned it out for that to happen, I would assume. So basically he's just torturing Bottas even more. And all of this scene was great just because the art was amazing. The shot of the flowers flying off as she got shot was great. But the biggest part were the characters' reactions. The way that Haku looked away from his fight and was like, no, and then started running and screaming, no. The one panel was really great of Bomb and Andrasi's faces as it happened, and Bomb screaming for him to stop what he's doing, but Andrasi holding him back and saying, no, he's too strong and it doesn't matter if she dies anyway because she's an NPC, showing that Andrasi, though she's a good guy, of course, she still is kind of selfish. Man, it was great, and it was all in character for all of them. It was done super well. I just think that was a strong scene. And it makes Chung and Bottas feel really important, and that's good. Make the arc characters feel important. Make the arc itself feel important. Because now Black Hole Sphere is kind of proven useless at the moment, so Bomb is struggling. Bomb's even been injured. So again, it makes the arc seem more important, and I absolutely love that. Then at the very end, we have Rachel throughout the chapter. She wakes up and sees Chung and all. At the very end, she tears the headset off of the real Chung and asks, like, who he is and why she's there. And we see that he's kind of skinny and sickly looking. His mustache is all, like, wiry and thin instead of the normal, like, big, strong with a nice mustache version that his avatar is. So, man, it's just really cool, and it's going to be interesting to see what Rachel does here. Is she going to kill him? Is she going to use him for her own gains? Is she going to get completely destroyed by him? Who knows what's going to happen between the two of them? Like, is he just going to toss her in there in the simulation in the virtual floor with the rest of them? But either way, before I get into talking about stuff as a whole, few things from the blog. In the blog, Siu says that Yuan Danhua are still climbing the tower. He says that the reason that the big breeder can block the black hole sphere, wow, that was a lot of alliteration and hard to say, The reason for that will be explained and revealed step by step. He says that he is still sick and on medication, and he'll be getting examined next week. But the way he wrote this, I think it was written like last week leading up to the chapter's release, so I assume that means he's getting checked out sometime this week. I think, though, there are so many preview service chapters in reserve that it doesn't mean we're going to be taking any break off. But, I'm not going to get into it for the millionth time saying that CU needs to take more breaks. But either way, chapter as a whole, like I said, I thought it was really well made. The art was a step above usual. I think one thing, I loved the entire thing, but one thing I will say that I think could have made it better is that it didn't feel like a fully complete thing. Whereas some of the other really great chapters, like the Kaiser backstory chapter, or my favorite chapter, the one where Bomb defeats Joaquin, and we have Daniel's flashback backstory, both of those were extra long and felt like a fully formed story. Like the one chapter was a story on its own within the story. This chapter could have done that as well if they had maybe sort of had some... stuck with the stuff that happened with Rose dying a little bit longer. If we lingered on it a little bit longer to see more of the initial reactions, how Bottas is going to initially react to Rose dying or whatever, how Bomb and all the others will react, stick with them just to see their reaction so that we didn't have to hold off on the reactions until next chapter or the chapter after that. And the same thing with Rachel and the real Chung. Show us what their interaction is going to be like. If he had made the chapter a little bit longer to put both of those in there and make the whole chapter like a fully formed story, then I would say it's one of the best ones we've had in maybe a very long time. It's one of the better chapters we've had in a while, if that's what would have happened. It was still very, very good, but I'll say that it didn't feel like its own fully formed mini story within the story. It didn't feel like the chapter was a wholly complete arc in itself. Arc is kind of like, it's the right word, but arc is also used to describe like a specific storyline or plot line. So in general, arc is used in another sense so much that it's kind of weird and feels like there should be another word. But there isn't. Either way, I thought Chung was great here. Him being built up as a really cool beginner villain here is super important. And I thought he was just going to get kind of easily taken down. We were going to move to the next stage. But I think that developing his character out as much as CU has been really good. So, all for it. Art was above average, great emotional beats, and everybody's reaction was great. And the overall feeling given of them feeling helpless was great. Bomb tries to attack, gets stabbed, can't use Black Hole Sphere. They shoot him in the head, a combination of Bottas and Andrasi, and it still doesn't put him down. So now they're like, how do we get past him? How do we defeat him? There was just this hopeless feeling. Rose stepped up and was willingly killed, and there was nothing any of them could do about it. They were completely helpless, and the entire time the villain is just laughing in their faces as they're helpless, which sets up a really good story, because now I'm excited. Now I want to know how they do end up defeating him, which is great. It's great storytelling. I would give it 9.5 data killing bullets out of 10. 9.5 out of 10, not quite a perfect score, because I do think it could have done with a little bit more time with Rachel and Chung and what happens with them, maybe seeing everybody's reactions here in the same chapter instead of holding off for next one. But either way, thought it was great. If you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there on stuff for the channel. And if you want a link to our Discord server, just ask and I'll give you one. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.